So here we go. Here we go. We're back at this again. I didn't want to talk about this right away because I was kind of hoping more images would surface before I actually discuss it, but it's been a couple days now and it doesn't look like we're going to see anything new probably for the next couple while. But let's talk about Flame Toys, Furai Model, Arcee. Now, we were down this road a while back. We talked about Windblade. It got heated with people. There's a lot of people that get really angry at one shot, non continuity, you're never going to see it again product. And I mean, look, you're allowed to not like something, but to use a wrestling quote, when you work yourself into a shoot, meaning when you work yourself into a way that it's affecting your life and all you're doing is every 5 minutes you're posting about it on Twitter, man, maybe there's something little going on more than a Windblade figure, an RC figure that looks a little provocative. But anyways, regardless of the fact, let's talk about this in the news today. So Furai Model Kits and Flame Toys on both their staff Twitter and their US Twitter posted a image done by Ban. Ban was the artist for the Windblade one also, of their next Furai Model Kit, and it's the design sketch at the time being with a little bit of nice color of their Generation 1 RC. And look, I'm going to be real with you. I don't see the problem here. Again, it's yet another stylized version. I mean, the thing that I found funny about it all is she kind of has a belly button with a little jewel in it. And I've known some chicks in the past that have a little belly button with a jewel in her. So I just found that kind of funny. Very early 2000s proto-man in college. But the point being is, look, it is what it is. It's a stylized, sexy kind of model kit. This isn't going to be how RC is going to look in your cartoons moving forward. This isn't how RC is going to look in your comics. This isn't how RC is going to look in 90% of your action figures moving forward. This is just a one-shot kind of thing. People have to understand, like, my favorite design of Rodimus Convoy, Rodimus Prime ever is his Ox design by Obari. The crotch thrusting, big masculine chest, like burly, transformations almost impossible, although third party did pull it off in the end with some sacrifices. But the point is, that's my favorite Rodimus ever. And outside of like some simple story page art and stuff like that, you never see that design. It's not used in animation. It's rarely, if at all, used in its full force in the mangas that were available back in 86, 87. It strictly is kind of this artistic interpretation of the character. And then years later, because people loved it so much, we got one third party of it in Carry DX9. Now this here, I look at the Windblade, it's the same thing. The Windblade design is not going to bleed over into any of that media, and it's going to be the same thing here with RC, combined with the fact that this is, at the end of the day, a Japanese model kit. It's not going to be available in Toys R Us in Canada. It's not going to be available in Target or Walmart here in the United States, or even Kmart. You're going to go to your Japanese anime import store, toy import store, and they're going to import it from Flame Toys, and that's about it. And they're going to be right next to the big boobied One Piece statues and everything like that in a very adult market kind of stuff. Transformers is a 35-year brand. There is people that have been collecting this, and specifically when RC made her debut, most people that were there when RC made her debut back in 1986, most of them are damn well 40 plus at this point. It's an old brand. And this stuff is going to exist in the same way that the Star Wars brand, they have their, I think it's called the Bishonen statuettes, which are like sexy versions of Star Wars characters. They have the same thing here with Transformers. There's a market for this. It's always existed. And it is what it is. I mean, as of this recording, there's the same kind of controversy going on with Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone's magazine's been around for years. Anyone who knows, my father is a huge vinyl record and music collector and stuff like that, and diecast. And he's collected Rolling Stone magazine since the beginning. And the latest issue of it has, I think her name's Dua Lipa or whatever on the cover. It's Dua Lipa. And she's in a sexy pose and stuff. And Twitter being Twitter, everyone freaks out, and then of course, smarter heads prevail, and then of course they're posting covers that had John Lennon practically naked on the cover and many others. Look, guys, sex sells regardless of male and or female. It's just the way the world works, and not everything is made for you. It's just how it is. Not to mention, I am a model kit builder myself, and I'll tell you this right now, most people, regardless of this Arcee release or the Windblade release, were not picking up the Starscreams, the Devastators, the Bumblebees, the Optimuses. I'm turning my head right now looking at my built kits. I have the Starscream and I have the Bumblebee. I really like those ones, but I remember when I picked those up, and this was long before we even knew Windblade existed, no one was interested in my compatriots and fellow collectors of buying these. They weren't, because to them it was something that wasn't, their game, let alone younger collectors. They're not going to build those kits. And as a Gundam model kit builder who has gone to anime conventions and competed in the World Gundam competitions, no joke, look on my Instagram for that stuff, it's not really a younger demographic kind of thing, model kit building. It really isn't. It maybe it was 20 years ago, but it really isn't now. And when you're talking a Japanese market product made of a character that debuted more than 35 years ago, you're going to have a demographic that wants to have something that's a little more spicy, to put it a little lightly, and that's just how it is. And this release is not going to rock the foundation that is Arcee. In all honesty, I look at this and I'm like, you know what? This is pretty much Arcee with tweaks. It really is. There's not much going on here. If this figure was a shadow silhouette, you would probably not even complain, because it really looks like any other Arcee. It's really in the fine details and stuff like that, but that's just the way life is. It's all in the fine details. So I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you like it, hey, you got a cool product that's coming out, nice model kit. If you don't like this, hey, you just saved yourself a bunch of money, and you probably will never see it in your life when you go to stores or anything like that. Of course, unless if you go into an anime store. But then I think a Furai Toys Arcee will be the least of your problems if provocative stuff is something that bothers you and you go to an anime store, because there's going to be a lot more thrown in your face outside of a Furai Arcee that's going to make you freak out. But at the end of the day, guys, don't freak out over this. Don't like harass the companies. They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing for a market. Let me tell you something. If the Windblade had sold so badly in pre-orders and stuff like that, they probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger and did this more. Maybe Flame Toys is trolling. I don't know. But all I know is this isn't going to happen. There's probably going to be more of this stuff. And I'll tell you, if there's going to be more female characters done like this, then if anything, that tells me one thing is it's selling. It's selling well with its market. And at the end of the day, your opinions, while are allowed to exist, are not going to reflect everything. I've said this many times. If my opinion of music was the reflection of the entire world, literally 99.9% of what would be on television, MTV, and popular music today, these guys wouldn't be making a penny. And that's just my opinion of music. Something as diverse as that, where the stuff that I listen to is vastly different than what the rest of the world listens to. And it's fine. They're allowed to enjoy what they enjoy. And it's the same thing when it comes to anything else. Transformers is such a huge brand, that we've reached this point that there is going to be different kinds of products, different kinds of interpretations. If they make, stretchy pants of the Seeker Jets, which I've seen, that only fit the female form, I'm just going to accept that that's just something made for it. I'm not going to complain. There's different products made for different groups of people, made for different audiences, and that's it. In the same way that I don't rag on rescue bots because it's not made for me. I don't rag on model kits if it's not made for a different group of people, like people who don't like the build stuff, or the Kabaya kits, more specifically, the smaller candy stuff, blind pack stuff, Krios, bot shots, blind packed, non-transformable little, tiny Titans, or the tiny turbo changers, or the bots. There's so many different diverse Transformer product for different walks of life, of different age groups, of different ways of thinking, of different kinds of personalities, of different kinds of beliefs, of different kinds of everything, that this is allowed to exist too. And if this still bothers you, then maybe it's not Arcee that's the problem. Maybe there's something deeper there. But you're allowed to not like it. But don't lose sleep over it. Don't be tweeting every 12 minutes at 2 a.m. in the morning over this. Because that's when, again, you need to look in the mirror, and it has nothing to do with a pink car that transforms into some futuristic vehicle with a jewel in her belly button.